Well, welcome back to another edition of Trash Talk.
Hey, this our last show of 2023, by the way.
Yeah, wrapping up another. Lord, you realize we're almost approaching a quarter of a century. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
remember when we
didn't,
were
but
when we were talking about the millennium and everything was going to crash when
yeah.
we hit 2000, and now we're 23 years into this century.
And I still don't have a flying car.
No,
The
but
Jetsons told me that
yeah,
by 2000 I'd have a flying car, and I don't have it.
no, but you got battery powered cars.
And we got robot maids,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
and
guess,
you
and
got
microwaves,
yeah, and you got what are those uh
drones,
drones?
but
Yeah,
I
that
can't
and
climb into a
and the
drone.
drones originally, were just something that was another remote control vehicle.
Yeah,
Like remote
sure.
control cars and boats that the kids used to play with. Now you got remote control drones with cameras in it, which is really cool because
They are cool.
when they fly over the Grand Canyon and have beautiful scenery and all, but
Oh,
they're
they're
using
amazing.
drones to deliver your orders now.
Well, they're using drones. I mean, the military's been using drones for a while, but we're using drones to discover stuff and find missing people and go to different, like, they threw this drone into this giant, like, flew it in to this giant this beehive. And this wasn't your typical, like, hey, there's a beehive. We're talking this whole thing on the side of the tree. And they went in there. Oh, it was the coolest thing ever. I mean, the bees were trying to kill it, but and then they flew it into the cave where these giant bats were. And I mean, that's pretty cool. But man, it's crazy to think about. Like, there's a lot of weird stuff also happening. Like, we've come far with the advancements, when we
Yeah,
talk about like AI and cell phones and stuff. But I was thinking, like, going in with this 2024, and that number just doesn't, in a way, it shocks me because I'm like, oh my God, 2024? What the? But also, I'm like, man, what is gonna happen? Because, like, I've been reading some crazy stuff. Like, right now, and part of it's TikTok, but they've got all these crazy conspiracy theories out there, and I love some of it, I do, and some of it I believe. But the latest, and it's not really the latest, but it's growing more momentum now, is there was a guy in Oregon who was walking at a specific path and whatever, and he believes he found a secret door into the mountain. That the way the mountain is, and it does look weird, I'll admit, it looks that it, and he believes he saw it open or close. And as it was closing, he saw a giant figure in there. So now you got these people climbing up this mountain to look at this rock, but there is a group, and a big group, that believes that there are giants living in the mountains, or that even the mountains, some of them, are petrified giants.
you wonder who owns the mountain
Right.
because they're capitalizing on their property.
Well, and the other thing is, like, I'm all for it. Like, look, if you look in history, there were giant figures. I believe that we know giants exist to the degree of, like, you think about those people that are 7.5, 8 feet tall, 9 feet. Like, I'm sure at some point, just as there were smaller people, I mean, they just discovered this pygmy group of people. There's giants, but are we now going to follow and assume that the mountains are petrified giants, or they're living in there, and they just happen to open the door to be like, hey, what's happening over? It's a whole group of people. I was on TikTok way too late reading that stuff, man.
Now that you mentioned that, how is that going to change how we do things as we go forward? For instance, when going back a decade or two, if a guy was 6'8", he could really be considered a center on a basketball team. Now, anything under 7 foot,
It's
and they're
whatever.
getting
Yeah.
to 7'3" and 7'4" and 7. I'm wondering, does this mean that eventually they're going to say, hey, we may have to raise the basket?
Right. We're going to 8 feet now, guys.
Yeah, because now you're going to be shooting the ball down into the net instead of up into the net.
I'm just also wondering how dumb are we going to get, by the way, this movie, Idiocracy. If you guys, this is the state of the United States of America. We are living in idiocracy. This movie is phenomenal. And it's about a guy that agreed to an experiment to be put to sleep, like, hibernate for a year. And he was going to wake up. Well, unfortunately, the army base lost funding and he wakes up. He gets put to sleep in like 2020 or 2005. He wakes up 20 years later. And what he wakes up, he realizes that the average IQ of the world has gone down. So he's the smartest person in the world.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious because I look at the world now on real media outlets. Instead of reporting news and talking about what's going on in the state of the world, they are literally interviewing flat earthers, people that believe that the earth is flat. I mean, CNN, Fox, MSNBC are interviewing people that are like, well, the earth's flat. And I'm like, what grade did we learn this in?
Yeah, right.
This is real.
Yeah, everything they taught you is wrong.
Yeah. And these guys believe it. I mean, these guys spend millions of dollars trying to prove that the earth is flat. I'm thinking to myself, how and why are we giving these people a microphone to talk? Meanwhile, we've got Israel, Gaza, Russia, Ukraine, China, but we're going to skip all that and we're going to talk about the flat earth.
Right. You mentioned Idiocracy about a guy that's in a coma or something for 20 years. So that reminds me, going way back, what was that movie with Brandon Fraser where he was frozen?
Great. He was it was him and Christopher Walken. He wasn't frozen. He was in a bomb shelter, fallout shelter.
Oh, okay.
And he got stuck down there and then he came back out. I absolutely love that movie.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's almost like that's the new reality, because a lot of people have been living in caves for so long that now they're just coming into what's going on in the world today.
Well, right. And we just came out of the writer's strike. We just came out of the actor strike. So that changed going in. So I think we're going to start to see, all those movies that were delayed are getting pushed even closer. We're starting to see that ramp up again. So 2024, we're going to start hopefully feeding back into the cinemas again. But again, Idiocracy. I was watching, I swear, somewhere over in France, you got your, environmentalists, save the world, Greta Thunberg crap, whatever. And I'm not saying we should trash the world, but like, stop it. They're out there protesting, right? Fine. I believe everybody should protest. They have a right to protest. I'm into it. But they're not just protesting. They were in this museum and they're throwing paint on a 200-year-old painting. They're cutting it up. They're damaging property and they're saying, oh, we're protesting the climate change. What did the painting have to do with that? What would he do? And by the way, what type of paint are you throwing? Is that environmentally friendly?
Or they're throwing blood.
Blood.
Yeah,
Like, I hate when vegans, and no offense to the vegans out there, because I eat more vegetables than meat, but I hate when vegans are out there yelling at people for eating meat. Like, dude, if you wanna eat like a goose, go ahead. I happen to want to eat a steak once in a while. So, and I'm going to kill that cow.
It's interesting because whether you eat a carnivorous lifestyle or a vegan lifestyle, the result is the same. You're going to die.
You're going to die. Yeah.
Your
poop's just, the only thing that's different is your poop. That's it.
That's why I say I consider myself in shape, because round is a shape.
It is. That's true.
Anyway, but
you have a lot of weird stuff going on, and people I don't know. I'm just so worried. Like, we whine a lot this year, not us, but people are so mad and offended at this song and take this off the radio and don't show this movie. And Oh my God, that was so. What's going to happen next year? Like for real?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. People have become so critical
Ugh,
about everything. They accept nothing and they criticize everything. And
yes.
and I mean, when is it all going to stop? When is everybody going to start to say, yeah, you know what? I see your point of view. When was the last time that two people were discussing something and one says, you know what, you probably have a point there.
Or at least listen.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even want to do that.
What happened to back in the day when, like, I mean, politics suck anyway, but what happened to back in the day, like, you had a friend that voted Democrat, and then you had a buddy that voted Republican, and you guys could just like be like, okay, whatever, let's hang out. Like now, it's definitive. Like, oh my God, you aren't
Yeah,
going to vote for Joe Biden? No, I don't want to vote for the man who probably should be in an old folks home. No, I don't want to vote for him. Okay. Oh, you're a Trump supporter. I don't think I said that either. But if I was,
right.
does that make me crazy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're a cult member. Like there's
Well,
no
and you mentioned you had your Republican friend and your Democratic friend, and they might still be your friends, but they're not friends with each other
it's
anymore.
I mean, what are we doing? We are literally letting a political parties, neither one of which cares about us.
Yeah.
We are letting them define our friendships and families. Like what happened about this? Like, look, I'll say it, and someone's gonna get mad. What are we doing entertaining this craziness about people defining their pronouns and who they are and all this? And I am not against it. Look, let me tell you something. I don't care if you're gay, straight, bi, whatever you want to call yourself, and practice. I could care less. Doesn't affect me, doesn't bother me. I don't care if you wake up one day and go, I'm a woman. Okay, that's on you. But why do I have to get like yelled at for not calling you a she, or like you made
Right.
that
Yeah.
choice at the age of 40 when you've been standing up and peeing for 39 years? Like I don't know. I don't know, man. I
Yeah.
can't do it.
Why does it matter if our names at the bottom of the picture says he, him after
I'm
it?
not doing it. And what is he, him?
Yeah.
What are we doing? What is it? I'm a guy. I'm a dude. I'm a he. I'm a man.
Maybe that's what we should do. It should say Brandon Novara / dude.
Dude. I'm just a dude.
Yeah.
And then you get people that get so mad.
Like the Big Lebowski.
Right. I'm the dude, man, or El Dudorito. I use that term a lot. Hey, dude. Hey, man. I use man a lot too. What's up, man?
Right.
I say that to girls at work. I don't mean that in any disrespect, but you know what? There's going to be somebody one day that I'm going to say, hey, man. And they're going to be like, I am not a man.
Yes.
I'm a woman. My pronouns are she, hers.
I used to be a man, but
yeah, I was a man yesterday.
So
but today I woke up and changed my mind. And then tomorrow I'm going to change my mind. And that's fine if you want to do that. I don't agree with you.
Yeah. You wonder, do they have two closets? A him closet and a her closet?
Yes. Yeah. You know who else had two closets?
What am I going to be today?
Norman Bates had two closets too.
Yes.
Okay. He wore a dress too, and he also killed a bunch of people. But I don't care. Like, I could care less. I really do. If you wake up and you tell me you're a man, but I've known you for the last 20 years as a woman, and you're definitely a woman, like, then that's on you. That's fine. I don't agree with it, but okay. But don't belittle the world for trying to accept you as that. Yeah. You made the choice, not me.
Well, either that or you file a lawsuit because somebody took exception with you or wanted to deprive you of your rights because you decided to be on the other side of the fence. Right?
It's crazy. So weird. It's so crazy. Like the stuff that we are focusing on is so wild to me.
That's it. We're talking about all of this stuff. And in the meantime, you got a whole world around us where the polar ice cap is falling into the North Atlantic and Pacific. You got extreme heat in places that don't know how to take care of it. Iceland may end up going the route of that Lahani, Hawaii did
I'm
with
going to tell
with
you
the
right now,
wildfires.
that's scary. That's
Iceland is
scary.
getting overrun by hot lava, like Ala Moana in Hawaii on that the Big Island.
And
Man,
some of that is, look, when you look at like Iceland, look, they're volcanic. I mean, it's going to happen sooner or later. It's going to happen at
right.
Yellowstone sooner or later. Let's not forget, guys, one of the largest volcanoes right here in the United States. Okay, that thing pops off. You don't have to worry about what your pronouns are.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, you got Mount St. Helen too.
well, you got that. And look, I'm not. I'm really torn on climate change. I'm not. I believe in climate change. I'm not one of those people who's like, I don't believe in it. Look, climate changes. I believe in it. I believe that our activities that we do definitely have an effect on that. But I also don't buy into right now what is happening with political parties using that as a tool to not only tax differently and make money off it. Because how is that going? If our world's going to end, and it will, we'll probably be dead, maybe, maybe not. If
Yeah.
our world's going to end, how am I paying more taxes to stop the climate? Like, that's not going to change anything. I think they're using it. Most people are using it as a political tool, and that's what I have a problem with.
I have said for a very, very long time that as far as climate change, you should be aware of climate change.
You should do your part.
Excuse me. Be aware of what's going on in the world, because I honestly think that Mother Nature is going to have the last word.
I don't think you're wrong.
Many
I'm not
areas
disagreeing with you.
if it isn't
She's doing it now.
tsunamis, hurricanes, typhoons, tornadoes, these are not man-made things. These are scientific experiences that we can't necessarily control.
Sure.
And when they happen, it's gonna happen, and it's gonna wipe out countries. It's gonna kill people, but you have to be aware of what's going on around the world to know if this is possible. For instance, hurricanes. Every summer, you watch the west coast of Africa,
Mm-hmm.
and they spawn off the west coast of Africa. And then what the scientists do is they track it as it moves across the Atlantic to know, is it going to go up the East Coast? Is it going to go into the Gulf of Mexico? We can track it, but they still don't know when it makes landfall how devastating it's going to be.
Of course not. Look at how many they've gotten wrong. I mean, like, we can't predict that.
Yes. Yeah.
My biggest thing is the earth is a living thing. Okay. If you go in, let's say we went into a lion's domain and we started to build things there, and we knew there were lions all around us. Eventually, the lions are going to come over and start wrecking our domain. They're going to start causing problems. When the earth was here at the beginning, we were not here. We've since had an impact on it. We don't know the results of that impact. We also don't know, because we weren't around, how many changes the earth is going through. Part of that is all happening. So yes, I believe in that. I'm not ignorant.
Yeah.
But I think it's really interesting that the government loves to use that as a weapon to gain more money and to run on campaigns, and to think that we're going to do anything about it. But what else is interesting to me is they just announced, literally, it is happening. This is not science. This is not Jurassic Park. They're cloning the woolly mammoth, and it's coming back. Not only are they bringing the woolly mammoth back, there's another species they're bringing back. Mind you, we have a lot of movies that say don't do that, but
right,
and it's a bad idea. We are sitting there trying to bring back extinct animals, but
right.
we are not helping the animals that are almost extinct right now. We are continuing to kill those animals. We're not looking to save the white rhino. We're not looking on pandas. We're not looking at all these animals, but we're going to bring back the woolly mammoth. We have no idea what the impact is for that, but we're going to do it.
Because science has taught us how to use DNA in order to recreate, they can do stem cell cloning and all to recreate. So if there is a a distinct species. For instance, if we find that in our rivers and lakes and everything, there are species of fish that may not be there, in 20 or 30 years, they are going to figure out a way to reproduce them and clone them in order to keep that species going. For whose benefit? Well, for the fishermen, for the restaurants that want to serve that fish. It's all.
It doesn't end well, though. My biggest thing is
scary.
like, we can't take care of the animals we have now or people.
Yeah.
But we're going to bring stuff back. It's scary because we don't know the results of that. What diseases, what genetic defects, what is this going to, we don't even ask questions. We just do it because we can. Meanwhile, we've got people on the streets. We've got people that don't have health care. We haven't taken care of our vets the way that we need to. And we just sit there and ignore that. But by all means, spend billions of dollars bringing the woolly mammoth back. I don't know, man. We've also got an election coming up.
Yeah, and
I know, and you know how I feel about that. It's a train wreck of epic proportions. You have Mr. Magoo on one end, and it's probably going to come down to Trump again unless something happens, which is really crazy to me because he's campaigning, but he's not campaigning traditional way because he's in court and all that. So it's like, I think there's going to be an issue. Go ahead.
We're spending all of this time concentrating on what's going to happen in politics, that we are not aware of what's going on in the rest of the world.
And every 5 seconds we're about to have a government shutdown.
Yeah, and what's going on in all the foreign countries that we are also involved with, and all, either on a good basis or a bad basis. But we can't get the full picture of news because we're so focused on domestic things that are going on. I think I know where a lot of the answers to these problems are. I think you can locate them in that cave in Oregon.
Yeah, the Giants are there. You know what? Maybe the Giants are honest. Maybe they were trying to let us in, like, hey, look, Lord of the Rings guys down here,
you want answers just like those that used to climb up in Nepal.
Talk to the Sherpas or whatever.
Yeah, to get to Kilimanjaro, to find the answers to life and everything. Maybe this time it's been hiding in this cave in Oregon.
Yeah. It's so funny, not funny, because I really do find the humor in it, and also it's terrifying. And I'm probably going to end the show on a really depressing note, but I mean, we always wish for the best in the years. I do. A realist, and although I make jokes, I look around and I'm like, I do think we're headed for something that's not going to be fun. I know people scream that a lot. They like to sound the alarm on a lot of things. Sometimes it's just the propaganda that's out there. Yeah. But the government came out and basically told us that they have unidentified flying objects, that they have no idea what they are. And we, the people, didn't care because we already knew it, So when that happens, I'm like, oh, that's funny. You basically said aliens are there and we don't care because we knew it. That should scare us, but it's not scaring us. But the real thing that's scaring us is when you look at what's going on with China, Taiwan, Gaza, Hamas, Israel, Iran, Russia, Ukraine. There's too many moving pieces that tell me that we are not going to come out on top. I don't mean we're going to come out on top. We're going to come out unscathed.
Right.
That's the big picture here. And I would much rather deal with the Giants in Oregon.
And I have a feeling that those flying saucers that go past Earth, I think they lock their doors on their spacecraft when they fly.
They're done. Yeah. We missed that opportunity.
Yeah, let's pass by this place.
We missed that. Yeah, they crashed in the 60s and they were like, hey, this is cool. They came back in the 80s. They came back in the year 2000. They're like, wait a minute. Whoa. We got to go.
Well, one thing for sure, don't fly past us. Every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. We're
2024.
Right, yeah. And hey, we'll see you again next year.
Yeah, guys, you guys have a safe, happy new year. Drink, toast, do whatever, drive safe, Uber, have fun, and just go into that super positive we got a killer year ahead of us
That's
on the
right.
show. I can't speak for the world, but you know.
Well, we can, but who's
Yeah, that's
listening?
true.
Who's listening?
That's
So
true.
catch you next year. Happy New Year, everybody. Bye.